Hello everybody. We are going to start the first webinar of the gvSIG summer webinars. At this first webinar, we are going to speak about getting started with gvSIG. We are going to see how what are the main functionalities of gvSIG, and we will we will create views, we will manage the tables, and we will create a thematic map. So I'm going to start sharing my desktop. And first of all, I want to show you the main sections of the gvSIG website, where when you access to www.gvsig.com, you can see this website. And at the products website, you can access to gvSIG desktop. Here you have the downloads section, where you have the last final version. At this moment, the last final version is gvSIG 2.2, but we are developing the gvSIG 2.3 that will be released in some weeks. You have the last version in development, gvSIG 2.3. You have some build at this section. About the last final version, there are two distributions. Here you have the collaboration website, where you can the gvSIG project is made thanks to the collaboration of the gvSIG community and the services and developments training done by the gvSIG association. So if you want to collaborate with the gvSIG project, you can collaborate through this link, and you will access to the website. There are two main distributions for the final versions. The all-included version, with this version you have to install this file, and you will follow the wizard. And the portable version is a zip file that you can unzip directly in your computer, and you can run gvSIG directly from that folder. So this version is very useful for organizations or entities where you have to install gvSIG in a lot of computers. You only have to copy the folder to every computer. The other main section of the gvSIG website is the mailing list. This website, this section has the main mailing lists of the gvSIG project. There are several mailing lists for users and developers, and you can register in these lists, and you can ask about your doubts, your suggestions, or problems with the application, and we will answer your questions at the list. So now we are going to start running gvSIG. You will have, when you install gvSIG, you will have a file to open the application. I'm running this application at the console here in Linux, and here we have the first window that appears in gvSIG. gvSIG is managed by in projects, and every project has different type of documents. Before explaining the different documents, I'm going to show you the main settings of the gvSIG project. So here we have we can access from this section. We have the general section and the folders one. At this section, you can select the folder where you have your projects, your cartography, your templates, your symbol libraries. So when you are opening a new project, it will be this folder will be opened. It's the same than the cartography. The other main section is the language one, where you can select the language to use in gvSIG. gvSIG is translated to more than 25 languages, and you can all of them by volunteers. So you can, if you want to improve these translations, or you want to translate to a new language, you can contact us through the contact form of the gvSIG website. So if you want to change to another language, you can change it here, and restarting gvSIG, it will be opened in your language. The other main section is the network one. Here you can check if you are connecting to a web server and it's not working. You can check if the connection from gvSIG is correct. So checking, I'm testing it, I'm checking it, and in my case, it's working. So if your company, if your organization has a proxy for internet connections, you have to configure the proxy connection at this window. You can copy the details of the proxy server from your browser, for example, from Firefox or from Chrome. You can copy them here. And the last one of the other main sections is the view one. At the view section, we can change the reference system of the gvSIG project. So every view that we are creating in gvSIG will be created in this reference system. We can change it from here. So I'm canceling this window, and now we are going to start to explain the different type of documents support for the gvSIG project. We have first of all, we have the view. At the view, we are going to add the cartography. We also have tables that are the attribute tables attached to the vector layers of our views, or new tables that we can load from our computer. We also have the maps that are the graphical output, where we can insert the different views with legend, north, scale, images, etc. And we also have charts. The charts are pie and bar charts that we can create from the attribute tables. For example, we can create a chart with the population of the different provinces in a country. We also can add the chart, insert the chart in the layout, in the map. So first of all would be to create a new view. We are going to create a new view, and we can see that the reference system of this view is the reference system that we had in the settings. In this case is latitude, longitude, WGS 84 in degrees. So in my case, I'm going to load a layer from Japan. It's about the municipalities of Japan, and it's in another different reference system. So for this view, I'm going to change the reference system. In this case, we can go to View, Properties, and here we can change different properties of this view. We're going to change, for example, the name of the view. We're going to change it to Japan, and the reference system of the view. In this case, we have, when we open this option, we have the recent ones, the recent reference system. If you don't have the reference system that you are looking for, you can change to APSG, for example, is the most used. And here you can look for by code. In my case, is 32654 is the reference system that I'm going to use. I press enter, and we can see the only reference system with this code. So with this information, it's in UTM 54 North for Japan. Okay, it has changed. Sorry, and apply. Okay, we can see that the reference system has been changed in our view. So now I'm going to start to insert our first layer. We can do it from the bar, the Add Layer button, or from the View menu in Add Layer. Here we can see the different layers that we can load in gvSIG. We can load different files, vector and raster files, from our computer or from the network in our organization. For example, if there's a server with the cartography, with several folders with cartography, we can access to this server in order to load the different files. Or we can load several web servers. For example, web map service, web feature service, web coverage service, web map tile service, geodatabase. We can load PostGIS or MySQL, for example, OpenStreetMap cartography, or PostGIS raster. Now I'm going to load a file that I have in my computer. I press Add, and I'm going to load Japan municipalities, and the reference system of this layer is this one. So I press Open. In this window, I'm going to tell you about the reference system. If the shapefile has a PRJ file with the reference system information of this layer, from gvSIG 2.3, not this version, but the next one, from gvSIG 2.3, the PRJ file is recognized. So if the reference system in this layer has a PRJ file, it will be in this position. In this version, we will have to choose the reference system, but in my case, it's the same than the view, so I'm going to accept directly. So here, and we have the Japan municipalities. Here we can see all the municipalities. This layer, if I put active this layer, I can open the attribute table. It's a vector file, so it has an attribute table attached to this vector file. We can open it from here, from this button, or from attribute table, secondary button on the layer and attribute table. And here we can see all the elements. We can select them here in the table, on the table, and they are selected in the view. I'm going to clear selection, and I'm going to apply a symbology to this layer. The municipalities, every municipality is in a different prefecture. So I'm going to apply a symbology by prefecture. It's in a field of the database, of the attribute table. So we have to access to the properties of this layer. There are several ways to access to the properties from the layer menu, properties, or secondary button and properties, or double click on the layer. Double click, here we have the layer properties. At the first tab we have the information. We can change the scale where the layer will be shown or not, we can apply symbology. So it's I'm going to show you the different options. There are legends by quantities. For example, if we have a numerical field, we can apply, for example, by intervals. By intervals, by the area field, for example, we have a begin color and an end color. So we can apply by the numerical by a numerical field. The unique value is in one color, like this moment, or unique values, for example, is based on one field of the attribute table. We have the prefectures in the name one field. So I'm going to select this field. And I'm going to select a color scheme with more colors, not 2 colors like here. For example, here, this one, it has more variety. So I press add all, and I have all the prefectures. We also can change the color of the different prefectures. For example, these ones are similar, so I have to double click on this one, for example, double click, and I change the color red, for example. Okay, accept. We have the new color, and we apply, and we press OK. So we have all the colors here, and the red one will be here, will be in one place. I don't know here. So here is the red color. And now I'm going to apply a legend, labeling. We want to see the labels of the different municipalities, for example. So we have to access to the layer properties again, double click, and we have a new tab that is labeling. We have to enable labeling. We have 2 options here. The simple labeling is based on the values of a field, and it only writes this value of this field. And the user-defined labels allows us to create advanced labeling. For example, we can create a label with the name of the municipality and the area, for example, and we can write them in 2 different lines, for example. This is the advanced labeling, but I'm going to use the simple one, this one. We are going to label by the name of the municipalities, that is name 2. We can select the field with the height of the text. For example, if we have any field with this value, or we can select a fixed height with the value. And we can rotate, for example, for a street map, we can have a field with the rotation of the different streets, so we can select this field. And the units, I'm going to tell you about an important thing for this question. The units, we have different options. The pixels option is for screen, is a measure for a screen. So if we want to export to a PDF file, or if we want to print to a printer, if we select pixels, we can see the labels in a good way here, but it's possible that in the PDF file or in the paper, when we print the map, or the labels are bigger or smaller. So it's not very useful for this way. The best option for this, if we want to export to PDF file, for example, is to select meters or kilometers. For example, meters in this case, and I'm going to write 2,500 meters. I'm going to apply them, and I can see that the size of the different labels are always the same, and in the PDF file they will be the same. We won't have any problem with the printer or the PDF file. Now I'm going to add a new layer, but in this case the new layer will be in a different reference system. For example, not this reference system. We're going to add layer again, a layer, file, add again, but at this way, in this, I'm going to add Japan Railway, but the reference system is different. 4326 is in geographic coordinates. I'm adding this layer, and I have that the assumed APSG is this one, is the view one, but it's not correct. From gvSIG 2.3, if we have a PRJ file with the information of the reference system, it will be recognized. But in this case, I have to access to the properties of this file. Properties, I have to change this reference system. So I access here. I have this reference system in the recent ones, but if I don't have it, I could go to APRG 4326 and this one. Finish. This is the correct reference system of this layer, and it says reprojected on the fly. So it's going to reproject this layer on the flight to this reference system. I accept, and I can see this layer, it's correct in this place, in this location, but this layer is reprojected on the fly, not physically. This layer is not physically in this reference system. If I want to reproject this layer to this reference system physically, I have to export this layer to another, to a new one. So I can do it in two ways. Secondary button, export to, or layer export to. And shapefile, the same format. I'm going to tell you about KML format, for example, for Google Earth. We are going to do it in the next webinar next week. We will export to KML format. Next, shapefile, next. We have to select the name of the new layer. So Japan Rail, for example, and the reference system. It's important to know its new reference system. This is the new shapefile. Next, we can export all the records of the layer, or we can select different records and export only the selected records. And we also can write an expression, for example, length more than 1,000 meters, and it only would export these paths. But I want to export all the layer. So here, export, and I want to add this layer in the view. I close it. I have this new layer it's physically in the same reference system than the view. So I can delete the old one because it was in another reference system. delete. So I have these two layers now. Now I'm going to open the attribute table again for the municipalities Japan layer. I'm going to select different elements here. If I have a button here to go zoom to selection, and here we have the selected elements. We can select here, or we have the selection tools for the view here. For example, here we can change the different. The selection is in the view and in the table. Another tool is allows us to get information of the different elements. For example, if we have the layer active, the municipalities, I have the information by point tool. With this information, with this tool, I can click on the element. For example, Itsuki. I can see that Itsuki with the name of the prefecture, country, all the values of the attribute table. For example, Nishiki, for example, and Nishiki. Here we have all the information of the attribute table. We have three different windows at the view. The main window is for the cartography. The other one, this one, is for the table of contents. The order at this window is the order that we visualize the information here. For example, if I put the railway layer under the municipalities one, I can't see the railways because they are under the municipalities. And the other window is this one, is the locator. The locator, I can load the locator from here, locator setup, view menu, locator setup, add layer. It's the same window, and Japan municipality. With this window, I can close this window, and it allows us to move on the window, on the view, in an easy way. For example, with the main button, I can do zoom to different areas, and with the secondary button of the mouse, we can move to another place, to another area. The other option is to I started with the project manager. For example, for the project manager, to access to the project manager again, we can access from show project manager, where here we can manage our different type of documents. For example, we can add a new table. Here we have the table of the municipalities, but we can add a new table here. We have two options from database, PostGIS, MySQL, or file. Add file, and here we have differential files, DBF tables or CSV. In this case, it's a table with the population of Japan, of the different prefectures of Japan, that I downloaded from Wikipedia or statistics ministry, I don't remember, but we have this information and we can load this information in gvSIG. So, okay, in the properties, we can select the separator, for example, if it's semicolon or comma, etc. In this case, okay, and we have the information with the population of the different prefectures. With these two tables, for example, we can link or join, we can create a join or link with both tables. We can add the population field to the other layer, for example, to the other table. We only need a common field, in this case, the prefecture, for example. And finally, we are going to create a map. The map will, we want to create a map with the information, with this view, with the prefectures of Japan. We have two options. We can open a template. We have created a template before, or we can create a new map. In this case, we have two options too. We can create a new view, or we can add one of the views that we have in our project. For example, this one. And we also can change the page size. So we keep this one, Japan, and OK. And here we have the map, the view with the Japan prefectures, with this information. We can add a title, for example. Well, before of that, I'm going to change the properties, because the scale of this view is 10 million, and it's not a good scale for a map. So the secondary button and properties, and I can change non-fixed, the scale, I can change it to fixed scale. So a good scale, for example, is 10 million here. Accept. And here we have the 10 million, the scale 10 million. If you can see here that the zooms of the view are not enabled because the scale is fixed. We only can move with the pan zoom. So we only can use this zoom because the scale is fixed. Now we can add a title, for example, the title, a text here. We can write prefecture, Japan prefectures. For example, we can align to the center. We also can change the font size. If we don't write it, it will be kept on the rectangle, and we can add a frame or a title to the frame. So we accept, and if we change the size of the text will change. Another option is to add the north, for example. The north, and here we write the square. We have to select the view from our map, because if we rotate the view, the north will rotate at the same time. And I select one of the north. Here we have the north. We also can insert the scale, for example. We draw the rectangle. We have to select the view, because it says the scale of this view. We also can change from numerical to graphical scale. We can select the intervals. So with this interval, we have 5 intervals at the right side and 2 intervals at the left side. We can add the units and the numeric, for example. So here we can see 5 intervals at the right side and 2 intervals at the left side. We also can add the legend. For example, we have the legend with the prefectures of Japan. So here we select the view, and we only want to include the municipalities layer. Okay, so we have all the prefectures with the different colors here. We also can insert another view. For example, we have this view, and we can insert the same view Japan, but not synchronizing layers and mapexen, not synchronizing with the other one. Accept, and we are going to zoom to an area. For example, here we have this area, and I'm going to add a graphic line around this small view. We use this option, graphic line. Here, around the graphic selected, the only one, 0, and accept. And here we have the graphic line for this area, for this view. We also can insert rectangles, lines, polylines. For example, a rectangle of this area with the same area that the other view, and a line, for example, from here to here. I can change the properties of the rectangle, of the line, secondary button, and properties. And we can change color, or we can create an arrow, for example, only one position at the end. Okay, and we have this map of this small area. And finally, we would be able to add a chart. If I had created, I could insert a chart, circles, and images. Here, for example, an image. I'm going to select the image in my computer, for example, this one, Hiroshima. Okay, and I have this image. So you can insert your logos of your company, etc. And finally, we have several options. We can print this map to a printer, or we can export to PostScript or to PDF file. So to PDF file, we can select, for example, map 1. And if I go to the folder where I have the cartography, I have it in PDF file. So I have it with all the information that I have with the labels, colors, scale, north, etc. And that's all for this first webinar. I'm going to see if there is any question. You're asking about preparing. I'm going to stop sharing desktop. Preparing a Mac version. Yes, in gvSIG 2.3, there will be a Mac version, and there will be Windows 64 bits version 2. So in the next builds, you can test this version, and you can tell us at the mailing list if there is any problem, and we will try to solve them. And there isn't any. All the questions have been replied and answered. So I'm going to finish this webinar. I hope you have enjoyed this information, and thank you very much. Thank you very much.